So from the previous examples of listening to popular songs and figuring out the tonal centers, really what we are doing is finding what scale that song is based on. And once we know that, then we're able to figure out an accompaniment. So what I mean by that is a left-hand part for the melody that we're going to be playing or singing. What you probably noticed is when I was listening to those previous examples, I was humming along as well. I was humming the melody to try to pick out as many tones as I could. Basically, what I was doing in my head is mapping those tones onto which scale would fit best with those tones. So let's break that down with just some earworms that we've got in our head, some tones that we can just hum or sing off the fly here. So Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star is one that I think most of us can recognize. I'm going to whistle what comes to my head. Now remember, I don't have perfect pitch, so I don't know exactly how to start it on like a C sharp or an E, but I'm just going to hum what I hear in my head, and then I'm going to figure out where that is on the keyboard. And we're going to map all of those tones of the melody onto the keyboard and figure out what scale it's based on. So the first tone that comes to my head is so that's the first tone. So I landed on a C sharp or D flat. This is where it comes in handy to be able to hum the major scale. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The tonic, I whistled first, and then the 5th degree of the scale. Okay, so these are the first 3 keys that I found. Then it goes perfect. No. Okay. Okay, so far we've got, I'll call it C sharp, D sharp, E sharp, F sharp, G sharp, A sharp. Now, those are the first 6 tones of the C sharp major scale. And don't let that confuse you. C sharp major has all sharps, whereas C major has none. And if you notice, C major is all on the white keys. And if we transpose that, if we bring it to a different key, like C sharp major, all I'm doing is I'm taking every single key and shifting it up, just making it sharp. So D becomes sharp, E becomes sharp, F becomes sharp. You'll still get a major scale. So you can play in whatever key you want as long as you're following the tonality. So whether it's major or minor, that's really all that matters. And there are some composers from the past, like Mozart, who could transpose on the fly. So if he was playing a song for a singer and that singer couldn't sing as high as he was playing, then he would be like, okay, well, you know what? Let's shift it down a little bit. And he would play in a different key without even thinking. Well, I'm sure he's thinking, but it's very fast. And he would be able to play in a different key. It still sounded like that song, but it wasn't in the original key. So he was able to transpose it. And there's nothing wrong with playing Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star in C sharp major, or let's say A major. Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder where you are. Or what you are, I don't remember the words to that. So that being said, we took a popular tune, we translated all of those tones onto the keys and figured out what key it was in. That's basically what we were doing in the previous examples. but without breaking it down like that. Okay, let's think of another tune. How about Happy Birthday? So far, these are the keys that I was whistling. Oh, I think that's an octave. Perfect. So these are the keys that we have so far. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, not 8. There should be 8 because I'm playing the tonic again. So that being said, we're missing 1. But if this is the tonal center, or the tonic note of the scale, the first note, that was the missing piece of the puzzle. So it was potentially a G. So if I started here, let's say I want to call it A sharp, oh, not G sharp major, I want to call it A flat major, then that would make this just a regular G, because then the next letter has to be an A, and it's A flat in this case. So then the scale of Happy Birthday from what I was humming is A flat, B flat, C, D flat, E flat, F, G, A flat. So that's called the A flat major scale. Now, is that the original key of Happy Birthday? Probably not. You can play any song in any key. Again, you gotta make sure that you're in the right tonality. Are you in the major key version or minor? So let's take a look at another popular earworm. A tune that I have stuck in my head, I think a lot of us do, is that of Happy Birthday. Okay, so the first tone that comes to my mind, okay, so I'm gonna hum Happy Birthday, or whistle Happy Birthday starting on . I started here, but I ended here. That must be the tonal center. Let's see. So far, I've played these keys. Oh, I've got that. Okay, so there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I need 8 tones where I repeat 1 to make a scale. Now this, I start on A here. So maybe it's A major. Oh, no, that can't be A major, because A major would have a G sharp in it. We don't have a G sharp, we have a regular G. So that's kind of strange. So let's go back to the tone of the melody and figure out where it wants to go to. Where's that tonal center? It keeps going to that, but it doesn't sound finished yet. Finishes there. So it starts on A, but it finishes on D. Okay, well, let's figure out the D major scale. So we're going to use our formula. Skip, skip, step now, or no skip. Then we have another skip, skip, skip. So I have to go up to this black key and step. So I've got D, E, F sharp, G, A, B, C sharp, D. That's a D major scale. And from what I was whistling earlier, the G was not sharp, so it's not A major. I've got these two black keys, which is C sharp and F sharp. So we're actually in the key of D major. So even though we started on an A, we finished on the tonal center. And this is where music theory really comes into play, because if you have a good understanding of music, and you don't even need to really study theory formally, but if you listen to lots of music, your ear will just tell you like, that doesn't sound like the finish. That doesn't sound finished. That sounds finished. That's called a perfect cadence. And again, that's something that we'll cover in future lessons. But knowing a little bit about theory really helps in terms of finding these tonal centers really quickly. So we used the translating method where we found all the tones from our head of the melody that we were whistling or humming, and we plopped them onto the keys, and then we did some reverse engineering to try to figure out what scale we're in. So I guess the bottom line here is be careful in terms of finding your tonal centers. Your song doesn't always start on the tonal center. Sometimes it'll start on a different tone, and you have to hum through the melody to find eventually where home is. And every song has its home, and that's the tonic note. That's the tonal center that we've been talking about. So sometimes you have to really go further into your melody to find that tonal center. So just be aware of that.